I'll run through a quick telegram just to get the business out of the way. We like to take this opportunity to extend our sincere congrats, etc. from Joan and Malcolm. The Australian Haywards, I was told. Do you want more? There's a lot more. Or is that?
That's fine.
That's it. Lovely. Excellent. On with the show. First of all, it's great to see so many people here for Jeff's retirement bash. I've known Jeff for a long time. In fact, I can't remember not knowing Jeff. Of course, Jeff, having a shocking memory, thinks we met at college or somewhere. But I have the photos, there was someone earlier. So Jeff and I go way back, a friendship of almost 40 years. So a collective memory of almost 40 years. Thus there's been time to consider Jeff, and distill what we might call the essence of Jeff. Perhaps there are three areas that can be described as uniquely Jeff. There's a food issue, there's transport, and there's accommodation. It's not looking good, Jeff. The earliest photo of Jeff and I was found in the Gares photo book a few weeks ago. We're sitting at their dining table scoffing chocolate cake, and it points the way really to a prodigious ability on Jeff's part to hoover up food. Irrespective of how recently he's just eaten. And not always pucka homemade cake, but often the most appalling combination of ingredients thrown together in a "it all goes down the same way" style. That's quote number one, it all goes down the same way. I'll point those. He is a gastronomic legend. A normal work day kicks off with porridge, toast, and perhaps a reheat of last night's curry. Morning tea break can't come soon enough when he eats a substantial pre-lunch lunch. So that by around 10:30 a.m. Jeff has taken on an average person's recommended daily intake. The rest of the meals are pretty much standard fare, except for the portion size and the inclusion, if he's been grafting hard, of, that's quote number two, of a wee extra dinner mid-evening. Most people on this diet get winks out of the sides of their homes to get their stomachs stapled. So what is the secret of Jeff's 10-stone physique? I favour the giant worm theory. But others suggest that a hyperactive brain is of this great energy drain. It seems that masses of power is required because of the way Jeff thinks. When most of us consider, say, taking a holiday, we go online and book a flight to Nice or wherever, hire a car, a hotel, and so on. Not so Jeff. A trip to Portugal proves the point. Take one dying Datsun 120Y. A classic Jeff purchase. It's an A to B, the wheels go round. It runs on the sniff of an oily rag. Weld in some scaffolding bars, and then, because it's a hot climate, saw off the whole roof, and off you go. Sleeping in the car under an old tarp, picked up some Kiwi hippies, learned French, Spanish, and Portuguese for police. And finally arrived 3 days later in the Algarve. The return journey was similarly eventful, taking in Gibraltar, Andorra, the Pyrenees, before being stopped by the Parisian gendarme for going around the Arc de Triomphe 8 times. With a bag of fish in the Bolivar. Transport's always held a fascination for Jeff, from early days in your dad's Austin A30 to his current set of adopted wheels, an MOT-failed VW Polo, which isn't actually Jeff's, it's Imogen's. And this shared love of classics was perhaps an early sign that this relationship had legs. But Jeff's first love wasn't actually cars, it was bikes. And in his formative years, Jeff did a roaring trade out of his father's lockup, mending all our old rally drifters and choppers. We, his spotty-faced chums, would inquire if he ever cared to look out through those spokes to the world of women's. And the reply, bikes are to me. What girls are to you? The reply asked more questions than it answered. So that's food and transport, now accommodation. The crafty use of space, first learned in the West Street lockup, stood him in good stead for his first flat. A nicely proportioned two-bed, in need of some TLC, seemed to offer a good sideline for Jeff as a live-in landlord. The well-appointed lounge was quickly sacrificed to a further tenant, and everyone crammed into the wee communal kitchen with its bifold door to get past the fridge. But Jeff couldn't stop thinking about that pot of gold that was the box room. Ripe for development, this largish cupboard could surely be worked up into a nice little learner. Being higher than it was long, the only way was up. Up, through a raised bed, by way of a hatch and a hole up in the mattress. Shutters through into the hallway afforded some chance of respiration. And in came a lodger to share in Jeff's mezzanine dream. A kitchen revamp revealed a promising hollow sounding bit of wall, and the resulting inglenook does indeed sit mostly within the boundaries of his property. Still not content with the cash flow, Jeff chewed on the problem. A bathroom revamp seemed to offer further possibilities. Thinking not so much laterally as vertically, Jeff pondered those awfully high ceilings and devised a cunning strategy. Could it be that if you showered with a tilt of the head, your eyes 4 inches from the halogen downlight, that there was room with, some slim floor joists for perhaps the ultimate prize, bedroom number 5. And visiting that room, one ascends a ladder propped on the bathroom door, opens the cuckoo clock hatch, then in a shrinky kind of hunkery shuffling motion, you go down on all fours towards the light at the end of the tunnel. If you've seen The Great Escape, you'll get the idea. Surprisingly, this room remains vacant. So, before he goes off, you could speak to Jeff. Tried. We have Scotty to thank, as Jeff said, for this day really. For it was he who first signed up on the website, dateananeastassist.com. Switched on young professional women who'd had their fill of high flyers with conventional appeared genuinely intrigued with something a bit edgier. Once Jeff had mastered typing in date and anaesthetist, romance blossomed at a fierce pace. With all one B. Quickly, he and Imogen became inseparable. Sickeningly so. And Imogef. Taking on Jeff was a challenge. A bachelor on the cusp of 40, with a beer fridge, the weekly stew, a man who complained a little too much about the traffic in Edinburgh. How everything used to be a little bit better in the old days. Now the dress sense has improved to the point that children don't stop and point, thinking the entertainer has arrived. Trousers cover the ankles, if not always the socks. And shaving is less of a bloodbath. Serious bit. It's been great to know Jeff all these years. He's got many great traits, not least his initiative, his tenaciousness. He's very loyal, and obviously a colourful character. Some would say an eccentric in the making. And on Wednesday this week, while sawing the roof off his camper van to create the Popemobile outside, I started to chuckle at the madness of it all. Jeff asked what was funny. I explained it perched on an old van roof with the neighbours looking bemused, kids stopping and pointing at us, we with our saws and our silicon in hand. This was not normal. Jeff paused and said, "It's not that off the beam, is it? In the grander scheme of things?" And I must say, 2.5 weeks with Jeff in that camper van. You're not talking a minute, 2.5 hours in that. Good luck to you both in your adventure, and may there never be a dull moment.